All right, so we're back again for round four. Um, should be should be an interesting round. Getting all set up here. All right. Uh, so we've got a few teams missing, but I think we're all right. So let's dive in to round four of the draft, starting with the Bills. Um, Last pick was my team. Picked up this tackle. Not a bad guy. But let's kick it right off and get going with the Bills. Let's see who they take. Robert Williams, guard out of Texas A&M. It's going to be a Fed fan team. You might like to hear that. Uh, Strength's going to be a little bit low, so we're going to have to work on that for sure. But everything else looks all right other than speed. So if he could get his speed and strength up, that would be a solid lineman. But his strength is a little bit low for the guard position uh, in the pro league. On to the Falcons. Falcons. We got Walter Parker out of Virginia, wide receiver. Low on speed. I mean, hands are good enough, but without the speed and agility, not going to be very good, and I wouldn't expect all three of those categories to ever get above 80. So maybe if he works hard and he spends some time on a practice squad, he might get up around 80 in some of those, and maybe by the time he's 26, 27, he might be able to have a career. But I'd say he's too slow, not agile enough, decent enough hands, but a lot of work to do on that speed and agility if he's going to play every day on Sunday. On to the Chiefs, Milton Branson. Another guard, a little bit better than the last guard that was taken, a little bit quicker, better run blocking, a little bit better strength. And see, he has strength that I would hope could develop up to about 80, over a few seasons. Endurance is going to have to come up as well. So, really, this guy's pretty solid, uh, just as long as he gets enough training, strength and endurance, a little bit in the position skill as well. Milton Branson out of Oklahoma, guard, taken by the Chiefs. On to the next. We've got William Johnson. Good pass blocker, decent enough strength too. Speed and agility is good. He's never going to be a good run blocker, but this guy, I would say, has more potential out of any of them. The easier thing to build up is going to be the run blocking skill and endurance. So he's already got decent enough strength. I might hope to get that above 80 in a couple seasons. If he can build that endurance up, a decent amount, he'd be pretty solid, especially for a majority passing team. He easily could platoon. Um, on to Denver. Terry Kane, defensive tackle, not great. Little slow. Uh, that's about it. Not quite strong enough, but he could develop. These defensive tackles come in at these low overalls, so it's like if he gets his defensive tackle skill up, maybe a little bit more speed and tackling, he could be pretty solid, but this is definitely a project. Maybe even more than a project. Chris Townsend, uh, kind of like the rest of the linemen. He's gonna have some work to do. Not bad, but only going to cost you 200,000 for 3 seasons, so not a terrible pickup. Hartman for the Texans, linebacker, tackling and speed's good enough. He's going to have to work on that agility for sure, though, and endurance in order to get pro ready. but he does have the tackling and the speed to play the linebacker position, and the size. 6'2", 244 is pretty decent, and that's actually a guy who could slot down a little bit and play some end in passing formations, but he'd want to work on his strength a little bit if he was going to do that. Caldwell, decent strength for D end, a little bit slow, good size, 282. But he's going to need endurance. You know, kind of that's the thing going around. Maybe some tackling as well, and agility. Lots of linemen in this draft. Escamilla for the Packers out of Florida State, wide receiver. Not great, bad hands, not great speed. That guy's definitely going to be practice squad material. Daniel Nesmith. Ooh, he's actually interesting. Out of Auburn. Um, I don't mind this guy if he can get some speed and agility up. I mean, he already looks very similar to Tyson Bravo in terms of his raw skills, arm intelligence, and accuracy. Bravo is up about an 85 in arm strength and a 78 in accuracy, and he definitely just won the MVP. So it's possible, but he's definitely slow and not the strongest. So he could use a little bit of development, but overall, I mean, I wouldn't be unhappy with this pick. In the fourth round, decent backup if nothing else. Kevin Rice, another defensive tackle, not great. Wouldn't expect him to, slower, decent strength. Kind of the same story I've been saying about all the defensive tackles. Cornerback for San Francisco out of Kentucky. Uh, got the speed, just needs the agility. Really strong for a corner too. I mean, I'd love having that 58 strength. So if he could get like 10 points on his agility through camp and season training, he could be decent. But he's going to need to get up at least a 70, 72 to really be a relevant corner in this league. Bengals. Bolton, another defensive tackle. Pretty much the same stories as all the defensive tackles recently. Though he does have better tackling skill than the previous ones. So he could work, this guy might have a little bit more potential than a few of the others. His endurance is already decent. He's already got that tackling skill. So if he can get some strength up over 80, he could find some time and a place on Sundays. Kenneth Boucher, free safety out of Louisville. Speed, a little slow, but great agility, and his strength's pretty good too. With that, he's undersized, but I might play this guy in like passing, passing formations at a linebacker or something. Especially because he's got good intangibles and everything else, good work ethic, so he might develop. Wakefield. I like this guy decently, other than his strength's low. So if he can build that strength up, he'll be all right. But he's already got, pretty much standard corner ratings. 86 speed, 71 agility. So endurance and strength is going to be his main project. Eric Wakefield out of Syracuse. Titans up next. Robert Galloway, tight end. Not bad actually. Gets that strength up. If he can work on some of his physical skills, definitely a decent blocker. Good size for tight end, 6'7", 258. Decent blocker. So agility again, if he could get that agility up above 60, 65, somewhere in there, he'd be pretty good, and maybe a couple ticks of speed and some hands. But decent decent blocker. Sometimes I wonder how these guys would fare moved over to fullback, something like that. Like Galloway, when I look at him, other than his strength's a little bit low, he's pretty big, and he's pretty big for a fullback in this league. But he'd need a little more strength, I think. But might be worth an experiment. Bucks, Wilbert Green, strong safety, just not very fast, and that's his main issue. 6'1", 206, so he's another guy that could possibly slot and play some linebacker instead, and maybe in some passing formations or something like that. He does have the agility, so he could play in a zone scheme, but I wouldn't like that speed at strong safety. Rafael Harris. I actually like this guy. 82 speed, 78 agility, 43 strength. So he doesn't really have to build that super heavy. Um, he's just got to work on his position skill, and he might be decent. A few more ticks of speed, he'll especially be decent. He's already got that agility, so he could play in his own scheme already, and definitely get playing time. But he gets a few more ticks. That's just bonus. Plus, he's a decent tackler for a corner. You usually don't see 60 tackling out of a cornerback. Seahawks. Peter Kennedy, about like all the other linemen. Great intangibles. Needs to work on endurance and strength. William Nilsson for Dallas. Decent strength. Definitely needs to work on his endurance. But his agility is really good. Size is really good. 6'4", 328. Speed's good for a lineman. So really, he's just gonna have to work hard on his endurance and his position skill, and he'll definitely be a guy that sticks around the league for a while, I think. Panthers, Easton, about like all the other linemen that have been taken in this round. Martins, Caleb Martins, 86 speed, 68 agility, so he could work on that. Definitely has to work on strength as well. Jermaine Larson. Oh, that's one of my old guys out of Utah. Uh, kind of the same story. Decent run blocker though. 292 speed, strength, speed and agility is all right, but he needs strength for sure and position skill. So maybe if the Giants can crank him on some strength training, he could get some strength training and teach him some pass blocking a little bit. Maybe he'll be all right. Jay Everett, defensive end out of USC. Speed decent, agility not great, strength okay, but he could afford to build all those up along with endurance. So that puts us. Let's see, who did the Bills take for their second pick? Ooh, I like him. He's stronger than all the other defensive tackles. He works on his position skill and his endurance. He'll be solid. He's already got the strength there. 6'4", 287 though, so he's a little undersized. Lines up. Jonathan Dixon, tackle, good pass blocking, decent strength, but he really would need to work on his endurance and blocking skill. Rams up. Thibodeau, cornerback, 83-76. I like this guy too. He could afford a little strength training, but not not bad. Not bad. Could use a little bit more speed for sure, but he's got the agility, so a couple ticks of speed. But he can already play in his own zone scheme. Browns up next. Andrew Fitch, free safety, decent enough speed, but not enough agility. Could use some strength as well. Guy out of Oklahoma Tech, and obviously endurance. Up to the Charges. Michael Cullen. He has pro level strength. He can move around well. 6'4", 313. Endurance, position skill, and get that run blocking up. But if you're in a passing scheme, sheesh, he already can be a decent backup for you on passing downs. Bears, who did they shoot in the dark for? Larry Gilmore. His run blocking's better, but he does have decent pro level strength. A little slower, but probably don't need a super fast center. Dolphins. Tyron Smith. Speed and agility, free safety. So he's actually not terrible. His intangibles are bad. Needs some endurance. And my team is taking Steven Davidson. Oh, wow. Out of Texas. Well, I'd say that's a solid pickup. He's 6'4", 202, which is good size. He can play both free safety and corner. He's quick. Has enough agility. Once he gets that position skill up, he's going to be decent. His intangibles aren't great, but I'm liking what I'm seeing out of this guy. He's definitely gonna get some backup time. Anyway, that'll conclude round 4. Thanks for tuning in. If you have, we'll do round 5 through 7 tomorrow. I'm not gonna stream that one because I think we're kind of just getting down to the shots in the dark. But anyway, it's been a good draft and looking forward to the season. And we'll conclude the draft tomorrow afternoon.